Hey guys, welcome to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour with your hosts, Derek and Jade.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in and welcome to episode number 8 of the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. Again, my name is Derek with DP Films Productions.
My name is Jade with Justice Promised Events. Today we chat with Amanda of Amanda Holder Events, an incredible wedding planner, designer, and coordinator here along the Central Coast. She won the 2018 California Wedding Day Best Planner Award and has been featured on Wedding Chicks and much more. She has a wealth of experience, inspiration, tips, and advice to share with us today.
That's right. This is going to be a great episode. So grab a drink, take a seat, and let's get to it.
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
Hi, I'm excellent. How are you guys?
Doing good. Great.
Super good. Hey, Amanda, I just wanted to say, I know that you were in a little accident a little while ago, and I could see that you're doing a lot of good recovery and therapy, and it seems like you're on the right track, and I'm happy to see that.
Yes, so happy.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's definitely been a challenge, but things are moving in the right direction, and I'm healing nicely, so that's all good.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's super. I'm super happy to hear that, and it's super cool to see all the vendors here, supporting you and giving you the love that we need in this community.
Oh my gosh, it's just been, kind of overwhelming at times in the most positive way. But, we really have like the most incredible wedding community locally. And
Yes.
the amount of support I've received over these last couple of months has just been, just mind blowing. It's just reasons to be grateful every single day,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding. So I got to ask too, how's your quarantine life? Must be pretty easy then, pretty chill.
You had a little head start.
I feel like, I've been doing this for about 2.5 months. So I definitely have a leg up on everybody else. I was joking the other day that, people after a week or two were starting to really kind of lose their minds. And I was like, oh, come on, y'all. Like, I've been doing this for a couple months and I've got it down packed. So if anybody needs advice on self-isolation, quarantining, sheltering at home, I've got you.
You got it covered.
Yes.
Awesome. So to kick our show off, we always like to have our interviewee just, explain who they are, what they do in the industry, and how long they've been doing it. So take it away.
Oh my gosh. Well, if I tell you how long I've been doing it, it's going to make me sound old. So we'll just say a long time. I started my event planning career actually back in 1999, working for the PGA Tour. And I just kind of fell in love with event planning. And in that first job out of college, I, was kind of the low man on the totem pole. So I did whatever they needed me to do, which meant I got a really well-rounded background in all things event planning related. And so I pretty much just, every job I had after that had some aspect of event planning. And at the last company that I worked for before I left to start my own business, I had several colleagues ask me to help plan their weddings because they had known my experience as an event planner for the company. And it just sort of sparked something in me. And I thought, I think I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
And I just thought, why can't I do this on my own full time? There really was no reason why. And so I just, completely jumped into the deep end and gave it a go. And so this is officially our 7th year in business. And my company has grown from a sole proprietorship to an LLC with 10 employees and growing. And it's just been such an incredible journey and blessing. And we have a really wonderful wedding community of vendors and colleagues. We have the most amazing clients, 35 of them this year to be exact. So
wow, that's awesome.
It is, it's overwhelming at times in the really best way possible and really just kind of a dream come true. So
Well, you're truly great at what you do. It's so inspiring seeing all of your weddings and stories and everything along the way.
Yeah, everybody.
You know, I mean, you guys know this. I mean, you really have to love what we do in this industry because, you know, it can be very busy. It can be very stressful. You know, there's a lot that's being put on our plate, and there's a huge responsibility in taking on one of the most important days of somebody's life. And so I really feel the weight of that. And I'm sure a lot of us do that, you know, that's a really important role to play. And you really, really have to love this to be able to manage that kind of responsibility and that kind of stress. And I really, really do. You know, everybody on my team absolutely loves it as well. And you know, not just for the clients, but the community that we have with our vendors and colleagues. And, you know, we all genuinely love each other and get along and want to hang out together outside of work every Saturday. So it's pretty incredible.
Awesome. Yeah. And we all have a story on how we got started with weddings, and you kind of went into yours, but I know you have a really cool story on like your first wedding. Can you share that with us?
Well, it was a bit early in the morning. So at the time, I was actually working in a sales and marketing role for the NBC affiliate in Fresno, California, which is where I spent high school and college. And the Today Show at the time, on a national level, was sort of launching this Today Throws a Wedding promotion. And so they did a nationwide search for couples who were interested in getting married live on the Today Show at, 7:00 in the morning. And the idea was that the viewers would vote for the couple and then all of the various elements of the wedding. And then the wedding day on live TV would be the accumulation of all of those viewer selections. So being the NBC affiliate, we took that promotion and we ran it on a local level. And so we did a call for, submissions and narrowed it down to 4 couples and then put it out to a viewer vote. And the winning couple became the couple for the live wedding. And so every week we featured a different wedding item. You know, one week it was 4 different cakes. One week it was 4 different rings. One week it was 4 different dresses. And so over the course of those 8 to 10 weeks, I think it was, the viewers got to see different segments on the morning show and vote for all of those various wedding items. And then we did a full-blown wedding on live television from 5 to 7 a.m. And so, crazy. Working on the sales and marketing side, I was planning the promotion, but also planning the wedding itself, and then working with all of our sponsors and advertisers on all of those different pieces. And then wedding day was really working hand in hand with the control room and the producers and the directors and the reporters to really put that all together in a live setting at 5:00 in the morning. So it was a lot of fun. We did that for 3 years in a row. So, to say that I got a crash course in wedding planning is really kind of an understatement.
Yes.
But I learned a lot about a lot of different aspects of wedding planning and television production and all that sort of stuff as well. So it was a really good time and, kind of stuck with me all those years.
That's crazy. That's insane. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. It was dark and it was cold and, seeing the sun come up over the course of those couple of hours was kind of cool. Normally we're dealing with the sunset, as the wedding day goes on. But in this case, we were dealing with the sunrise. So a much different experience.
Yeah. How would you compare that to weddings now? Like, would you say weddings now are easier compared to? Oh gosh,
yes.
Yeah, if you can handle that, you can do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like, gosh, if I could do this, I could pretty much do anything. Yeah. So, what I tell people a lot of the time is whether it's a corporate event or a wedding or, a golf tournament, every event sort of has the same, moving parts and pieces, kind of like a puzzle, right? Like it may be a 10-piece puzzle, maybe it's a 150-piece puzzle. It's essentially putting all of those puzzle pieces together. And at the end of the day, the end result looks a little bit differently from the next one. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the easiest way for me to describe it to people is, listen, we're putting together this really beautiful puzzle that will be your wedding day, and it's the caterer and the florist and the videography team and the photographers. All of those little puzzle pieces come together to really create this masterpiece. And what hopefully, the end result is what this couple has been envisioning for their wedding for a very long time. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a practical way to look at it.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, everyone's their own little piece. Every little puzzle piece you got to put together and you get a beautiful picture. Yeah.
Yeah. When you come from doing, large scale events for the PGA Tour for tens of thousands of people, to doing a wedding for 200, it's like, oh, we got this.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
But you never lose the wonder of that because you're always dealing with different personalities and, not only of the couple and their friends and family, but the rest of their wedding guests and the vendor team. And, then you're throwing in different weather elements. And so, you really just have to be prepared for anything and, always hope for the best, and there's little things here and there that always go awry at any type of event. But as long as, the couple and the guests don't see any of that behind the scenes stuff, we're golden.
Yeah, no kidding. And I gotta say too, hearing just the passion of how you're talking about your events is really nice because coming from something like, the TV show stuff and going through all that, high adrenaline, fast-paced stuff, and then still having that same passion for the weddings here, that's huge.
Yeah. It really, it makes me smile when I talk about it. I think if you talk to anybody on my team, they would have a similar reaction. We just really, really love what we do. Bringing people together from all different walks of life and cultures and areas and, to be able to bring them together and celebrate love is a pretty amazing thing. It's universal. And, I just really, I love that. I love that. I appreciate that. I do not for 1 second take it for granted.
No kidding. And we live in a beautiful place too. So no complaints here.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
That doesn't hurt.
Honestly, I've traveled all over and lived in a whole bunch of different places. And there really is something super special about life on the Central Coast. We've got, 400 plus wineries within an hour's drive and, the beach and hiking and, whale watching and elephant seals and butterfly groves and
everything.
There really is something for everybody here. And it's a really incredible way of life. We pay a premium, but it's worth every penny.
No kidding.
Definitely.
All right. Yeah. So let's get into a little deeper into the business of side of things now. Yeah. So let's go into a little bit of what you offer your brides, as in like packages wise. What do the brides, when they book you, what are they looking at? Not like pricing or anything, just like what you offer in package wise.
Yeah. So we're a full service wedding and event planning company. And so our basic package is a coordination package. We are using the term management these days because it really is about managing the overall planning process with the client and helping them make the right decisions. Mm-hmm. So, with our management package, that's kind of the base package. Essentially, that assumes that we're going to be setting up that client with our tools and resources. We're going to be giving them vendor recommendations that we believe are a good fit for their style and budget. And then essentially, we're sending them on their way to do 100% of planning with guidance from us. So, they're able to check in with us periodically. We're helping keep them on task with checklists. We're helping put together their timeline, their layout, helping them keep track of vendors and things like that.
Nice.
So we really are involved from the very beginning, regardless of whether they're a management client or a full service client. We want to get involved as early as possible so we can really point them in the right direction and ensure they're making the right decisions to bring their vision to life.
Yeah.
So that's our base package. I would say that probably, 50% of our clients, at least for this year, fall into that bucket.
Yeah.
And on occasion, I have a client that starts with that basic package and then upgrade to one of the other two packages at some point.
That makes sense.
It happens from time to time where, they kind of get started with everything and then they realize that, wedding planning could be a full-time job. They start to feel a little bit overwhelmed and they decide that they want a little extra support. So, we're happy to provide whatever level of support they need.
Yes.
So that's our basic management package. The next package up is sort of our hybrid between management and then full service. So we're providing design assistance and really handling all of the visual or aesthetic elements and then turning the planning over to them. And again, continuing to provide that guidance as they move through the process.
Nice.
And then our next one up is our full service design, planning, management, basically all inclusive. And so essentially what's happening with that is we're doing 100% of the legwork, all the design, all of the planning. They are essentially providing feedback and making decisions about which vendors they want to book,
Nice.
Writing checks, et cetera.
That's
And,
the bling bling
we're really-
package.
That's the bling bling
That's the
package.
bling bling
Yeah.
package.
Yeah. And, then of course we're pulling it all together in the months and weeks leading up to the wedding. So,
Definitely.
the basic package, like I said, probably about 50% of our clients. And then the other two packages are pretty even split, 25-25. At least for this year, out of the 35 weddings we've got this year. So
That's cool. Would you say you've noticed a difference between package bookings between where the couple lives? For example, like say someone in San Francisco, they might get like your bling bling, whatever. Or someone in LA or something gets like, the.
Yeah, definitely. For the majority of our clients are from outside the area.
Yeah.
So they're from Northern or Southern California, or maybe one is from one area and one is from the other. In a lot of cases, maybe they met at Cal Poly. That's where they went to school and they've been together since. And so this place really holds a special, significance to them. It has a special piece of their heart. And so they come back here to get married and celebrate with their family and friends. And people are coming up from Southern California or down from Northern California. And it's a great, in the middle meeting point.
Yeah.
So most of those clients that are from outside the area are going to be, either the middle package or the full service package.
Yeah.
And then anybody who's a little bit more local or maybe has family living in the area, they tend to be more on the coordination, the management side of things.
That makes sense.
Definitely. So I really love how you set up your packages. I'm sure that you've gotten a lot of requests for like advice along the way because you are amazing at what you do. You've been doing this forever and, So I want to ask for everybody that's looking into getting into coordination, what advice do you have for them just getting started and creating their packages?
Well, the advice I have is it's a lot more difficult, a lot more stressful than I think people originally think going into it. It is really hard work. It's a lot of phone calls and meetings and vendor appointments and site visits. And then on a wedding day, you're on your feet, anywhere from 10 to 12 to 14 hours on a wedding day. So it definitely is not for the faint of heart. You really have to be ambitious and motivated and determined, and you have to work really hard in order to be successful and to turn a decent profit.
Yeah.
Especially here on the coast, it's a higher cost of living. And so it takes a lot more work to get to that place. In my first 3 years with this business, I was also working part-time elsewhere. I was picking up some marketing clients on the side and doing some search engine optimization and search engine marketing for some small local businesses. You know, I was waiting tables, I was bartending, I was picking up catering gigs.
Hustling.
You know, I was volunteering with florists. Yeah, you know, and really just getting to know all aspects of wedding and event planning and working with various vendors, which I think has just really helped us be better planners, is having that understanding of everything that happens behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. But it really is hard work. You know, this is not a like get rich quick kind of thing. You know, it wasn't until my 4th year that I went full time with just this. Yeah. And so this is all I do, 100% weddings, events, and, you know, that's it. And so it takes a lot of hard work. If, you know, you can get through the first 2 or 3 years, you're probably, you know, you've probably got a shot of making it for the long haul.
That's what they say. They say the first 3 are the hardest, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it, you know, in terms of like the cost of entry to start your own wedding planning business, it is a very minimal cost. But once you get past that initial cost, then things start to add up really quickly, you know, especially if you're taking on larger weddings and events and having to bring on, you know, additional staff. We use the internship program at Cal Poly, which is really great. You know, we're giving real world experience to students at Cal Poly who are specifically studying to become event and wedding planners. But it really is, it's a lot of hard work. It's long days. You really have to love it. I mean, you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to get into that too about, so you were like, you were into marketing and you got the computer side of things in the background. I didn't know. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good to know.
Yeah, I would have threw in some SEO questions up in here if I knew more about that. What'd you say?
Yeah, I actually, fun fact for you. Once I graduated and went to work for the PGA Tour, I then ended up in the Bay Area for a little while, and I worked for a company that does web-based surveys for market research. And so I had clients at the age of, 24, like Procter and Gamble and General Mills, and I was running their entire market research campaigns online with surveys. So I definitely come from, at least early on, a much more technical background. Yeah. And, then took a departure from that for a number of years. But, have really, I think, flourished in our business because of the online tools that we use for all of our clients. It really helps streamline all the planning and keep everybody on the same page at all times. So
that's awesome.
Having that understanding has definitely helped.
Yeah, yes. Definitely. So I was about to ask that too. So you would say the marketing and stuff has helped your business a lot. You like knowing, I would say knowing how to market, how to reach out to your couples, huh? The brides that you want. You probably know how to. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's a good thing to know.
Yeah. And it really, it's about identifying your niche in the marketplace and then really being laser focused with your marketing and advertising efforts in that regard. That's huge. Obviously, the online aspect, with Insta and Facebook and our website and blog. But, as you guys know, the other really important piece, especially locally in this small community, is just vendor relationships and referrals. And, we're really easy to find online, but we also have really great reviews from our clients and vendors because we really do love what we do and we care about each other. And, so that referral business is really key.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And that's what I like about this. When we first got into the wedding industry, it was kind of scary. We're like, whoa, because you guys were like all buddies and we saw the close connection you guys had.
A little intimidating.
Yeah, we're like, we're like guppies. We're just thrown into this ocean and we're like, whoa, this is tough. But then after a while, everyone opened up and we saw how nice and relaxed and chill everyone is.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was super
helpful.
nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it really is an awesome community.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say, I'm pretty sure you have a lot, but what would you say is your favorite part of being a wedding planner? If you could choose one piece.
Oh my goodness. That is it's hard to narrow that down.
Okay.
I think for me, one of the things that I'm sure you guys have heard me say or, post or send is love and light.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's just a really big theme in my life is that I do all things with love and light and, spreading that out into the world. And inevitably, when you're doing that, it comes right back at you. So to be in the business of love, which is, what we are, we're celebrating, people's love for each other and their friends and family and our fellow vendors. I think that when you really get down to it is my favorite part. Just being in the business of celebrating love.
Yeah.
It may sound a little bit cheesy or altruistic, but it really is true. Like that's where my heart is. And I hope that, in doing what I do with my company and having my team do what they do, that really is what people see, is that they see our heart in all of this.
Yeah.
That they're receiving that love and light that we're putting out there.
Yeah. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
Because whenever we watch a movie and you see like a wedding scene, I'm like, oh man, we get to do that for a living.
Yeah. And sometimes it brings tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
And, certainly in doing what you guys do, when that couple can sit down together and, share a glass of bubbly or a glass of wine and watch their wedding video, look at their wedding photos, reminisce on their wedding day, their vendor team, their friends, family. When you get to be a part of that, it's really cool. I get pretty emotional sometimes, thinking about it, talking about it, looking back. When you get those thank you cards in the mail from your clients or, that email or that review and, they're able to express to you that they did receive that love and light. That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So I want to talk a little bit more about planning with a team. We've mentioned it a little bit, but you have an amazing team built up. And I just want to ask you if you can tell us a little bit more about your team and how you've built that up.
So the majority of my assistants have come through the internship program at Cal Poly. So
Awesome.
These are all ladies that are specifically studying to become event planners, wedding planners. Some of them, have entrepreneurial desires. Others want to go work for, large experiential marketing companies and things like that. So that's been a really great way for us to bring people onto the team, to give them, the training and experience that they need to then go out into, the real world when they graduate and make a name for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the ladies on my team have come through that program. The others are, maybe already doing this on their own or building their own business and, working for us as well, which, might sound a little weird to some people. Like I'm training my future competitors, but I believe in that. I believe in that type of mentorship. And, if we can teach people, how to do what we do and, give them the tools and resources they need to be successful, I'm happy to do that. I want to lift other women up in this industry and help them, really build and flourish in their own businesses. Because ultimately, that's good for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have people that are building a successful business in this industry, in this community, it's going to bring more people to the area, which is in turn good for everybody. It's good for the wedding business. It's good for hospitality, hotels and restaurants and all of the other things that go along with that. So, we've got 10 on the team this year. Most of those have been with me for over a year now.
Nice.
And, some have graduated and stayed on with me. Everyone's working remotely right now, but we, pre-COVID, we got together on a pretty regular basis in person. Now it's all via Zoom. But, we have a monthly team meeting and we, look at various topics that people are interested in garnering some training on. Everyone rotates kind of roles on a wedding day. They're involved behind the scenes in the planning process. So, our clients are, getting to know the rest of the team throughout the planning process.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just showing up on the wedding day as complete strangers. They're our clients are seeing them on social media. You know, they're seeing them on the website. They're seeing them in our stories on a wedding day. They're seeing their name behind the scenes in Aisle Planner when we're assigning out tasks and setting up timelines and layouts and stuff like that. So, you know, it really is a team effort. You know, I'm leading the charge, but I have a lot of really wonderful ladies who are, you know, right alongside me doing what we do.
That's awesome. So how do they like find you though when they're at Cal Poly? So I guess they just go to the intern program and then they see your business.
Yeah. So we essentially have kind of an ongoing listing with the program for interns. And so, you know, we're always adding people to the roster year in and year out. You know, so they can get the course credit that they need and get that experience and then move on. So
that's cool.
You know, they're responding to the posting, or, you know, they've heard about us through one of their event planning classes. We often guest lecture in a couple of different classes and talk about creating an event plan and share a little bit about, you know, my background and experience. And, you know, we get a lot of emails, you know,
That's
hey,
so
I
cool.
heard about you here, or saw you there, or was talking to so-and-so, and her older sister used you as their wedding, you know, whatever it is. I mean, they kind of come from all over the place. But they all start with, you know, sending an email that they're, you know, an event planning student, and that they are looking for experience in the field, and that they would love to come and work with us because of the reputation that we have. So it's, it's really cool the way that people find us.
Yeah, no kidding. And like, what better way can you get your credits, but then enjoy an awesome wedding? That'd be
An
best.
amazing experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I got to ask, like, when you launched your business, like, when did you decide, okay, I need a squad. Like, when did you decide that? You know?
Well, I was a sorority girl in college, and so I guess it was always kind of a dream of mine to sort of recreate that experience as a business professional. So I think there's probably a little bit of that. But, you know, more so when you're an independent wedding planner, in order to grow your business, you have to be able to take on more clients. You know, one is you have to charge a higher price year after year to be able to increase your revenue as expenses increase. But you also have to be able to bring on additional people so that you take on more than one event in the weekend, so that you're not just completely burnt out all the time.
Yeah.
And so for me, it really was looking at, you know, where do I want to take my business in the next 5 to 10 years? You know, in order to grow my company, to grow my revenue, to be able to take on more clients. Yeah. And, you know, it involves, you know, going to an LLC and bringing on employees and double and triple booking some weekends. Yeah. So that we can really, you know, serve all of that and continue to grow. Mm-hmm. So it really, you know, after the first couple of years and me really doing this part-time and, you know, bringing on my mom to assist, or, you know, a coworker from, you know, my last company to assist, it became pretty evident pretty quickly that in order to grow my business, I was going to have to bring on more people. And, you know, of course, people who have an interest in this and experience in this and a passion for it do. So that's a hugely important piece of this, is that I'm very selective about the people that I bring on board. Yeah. You know, they have to have that same passion and motivation and desire that I do, or it doesn't work.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, that's true, because they're going to be technically like representing your brand.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, you know, they're an extension of me. Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, they're my right arm, my left arm. You know, they are an extension of me.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's so cool. Yeah. All right. So before we continue, we're just going to take a quick little break because we need some water.
Okay.
Welcome back, guys. We're still here with Amanda from Amanda Holder Events. Mm-hmm. So Amanda, can you tell us, do you have like a personal favorite wedding style to design?
Absolutely. Hands down, the best wedding ever involves a sloth.
A sloth?
A live sloth named Taco. It was the best day of my life, in addition to the bride and groom. Yeah. So for those of you who know me at all, know that I have a slight obsession with sloth. So I've got, sloth notepads and coffee mugs and calendars and just a whole bunch of sloth things around my house.
Yeah.
So,
how'd that come about?
The couple is getting married at Rava Wines up in Paso, Sydney and Derek, and the groom's parents own a company, Pacific Animal Production. So it's one of those like zoo to you programs.
Oh, nice.
Where they're bringing zoo animals out, to schools and, fairs and festivals and helping educate the public about these animals. And so they have a sloth, Paco, on their team. And Sydney and Derek decided to bring some of these animals out for cocktail hour to give everybody, sort of this really unique cocktail hour experience with these animals. And so, in the months leading up to this, I knew this was going to be happening and I was really looking forward to it. My whole team was looking forward to it because they know how crazy I am about sloths.
Yeah.
And there was this moment that day where the vehicle with the sloth pulled up. And the bride was taking pictures, pre-ceremony. Yeah. And she comes over to me and she says, "The sloth is here." And my heart started racing and I started crying. And, I go walking over to this car and I think there's a video on our Insta story or somewhere, but they're opening the back door and I just have this like look of just pure joy and excitement on my face and tears streaming down and, just this best day ever. And so we got to feed Paco during cocktail hour and take pictures with him. Sloths are very sensitive animals. And so, you're not allowed to touch them or hold them or anything, but you can get, up close enough to them and feed them something. And it just was a really super cool experience. And there were a lot of happy tears shed and, lots of really great photo ops. So that will definitely go down as one of the most memorable weddings in our history.
That's so cool.
Like I said, not only their best day ever, for Sydney and Derek, but one of my best days ever too.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome to see a sloth up close and personal like that.
Oh my God. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, their hair looks like wire. I mean, but it's probably soft for all I know. So I wanted to get, that's so crazy.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to get into more of the design aspects of the business. So what would you say is your personal favorite wedding style to design?
Oh, wow. Personally, my style is very simple and classic and, not overdone.
Yeah.
So, I'm a nature lover. I love hiking. I love the beach. I love the outdoors. I think especially here on the coast, there's so much natural beauty around us that I really prefer personally, things that complement that outdoor setting as opposed to take away from it. And so for me, just sort of a really clean, classic, simple look is always my personal preference. And, that's kind of the base or the foundation of where we start with a design. But then it really is about getting to know that couple and what makes them tick.
Yeah.
And what's important to them and what they're really envisioning for the overall ambiance of that day. And then infusing all of those different elements into that overall design. But I think what you'll see with a lot of our clients, if you look at our Insta, if you look at the blog on our website, the photos on our website, that a lot of our clients are that really clean, classic, elegant, just really beautiful, ease, I guess would be a good word for it. There's an ease to a lot of our clients and a lot of our work on the design side of things.
Definitely. I definitely agree with everything you just said there because your clients are pretty high class.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can do the big over the top, flowers everywhere, Madonna in cake, we can do all of that as well. And we definitely have. We've had some really fun and funky weddings in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think a lot of it is just really that sort of simple, clean, classic, more understated kind of style. So,
Timeless.
and that, that's really more of a timeless kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the trends are. We know what people are wanting and asking for. But beyond a trend, it really is about identifying what's important to them and the kind of ambiance that they're, wanting to create for their wedding day, but also that they're going to look back on years from now and still feel good about.
Right.
Definitely. Speaking of trends, what advice would you have for someone that's up and coming to wedding planners to be able to find these trends, to find out what's hot, right? Or what's not?
Yeah. Really, it's so easy nowadays, right? Because everybody's on Insta and everyone's got a Facebook page and there are all these wedding blogs and magazines and TV shows and podcasts. And, there's just so much information out there for us to absorb. And so it really is about, searching for and following vendors that you like, vendors that you admire, vendors that resonate with you, and, really kind of staying on top of what they're posting about, what they're looking for, what they're seeing as the trends. But then the other piece is really in what is it that your clients are seeing out there? What are they hearing out there? Did they go to 12 weddings last year and they're tired of, neutrals and greenery and they want something different and colorful? So it's kind of twofold, staying on top of all of the information that is available, but balancing that with what the clients actually want.
That's huge.
We in years past have been sort of in this, bittersweet relationship with Pinterest, right? Where everyone sees all these things and they're pinning all these things and that's what they want for their wedding. But when you really drill down and get to know them a little bit better and figure out what makes them tick and what's important to them, you might come out with a totally different look.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing about wedding dress shopping that I tell people. Some people have a very clear vision in their mind of what that wedding dress looks like. And they just have tunnel vision and that's all they want to try on and that's all they want. And then sometimes they try on those looks and they don't like them at all. So what I tell them is it's great to have that idea in mind if that's really what's resonating with you, but also keep an open mind to other possibilities. And, a lot of the planning process sometimes is 12 to 18 months out. People's thoughts and feelings and opinions change, trends change, family and friend dynamics change, weather changes. The current climate that we're dealing with right now has been a big change for people. So it's great to have an idea of what you want, but also keep an open mind and don't be afraid to go in a little bit different direction or expand on something. Ultimately, it's your wedding day. So it should be about you and your fiance and what you want collectively. You're merging these two completely separate lives together. So it really is a blending of all of that.
And it should look and feel like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want a sloth, let's make it happen.
No kidding.
If you want a donkey serving tequila at happy hour, cocktail hour, let's make that happen.
Yeah, I saw that was a thing. Have you done that yet?
I have not done that yet, but I hear there is a donkey locally that does carry around a little pack and serves tequila to guests. So
awesome.
that is on our dream list for this year.
That's huge. So I just wanted to go back and point those out, what you said. So for like the a tip, I like how you said that. So there's like social media to look up to find tips, Pinterest and whatnot. But also the big one I really liked is to listen to what the bride wants. Listen to what they've actually experienced and what they're probably over seeing.
Yeah.
And ultimately just going off, their feedback. And then as for the wedding couple, to not just do something they think is in, but more about what they personally want to have. I think those are some really good tips you said.
Yeah. And I think, what's really important, at least to us, is that this is not about us.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's not about my team. It's about the client and what they want and what they're envisioning. They're hiring us so that we can give them direction and guidance and hold their hand through the process and help them make the right decisions for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about me. It's not about my portfolio. It's not about my Insta or my marketing. It really is about the client.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It always will be for me. And the day that it's no longer about that is the day I start doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. That's another good nugget Amanda just threw out there, is that, it's your passion, but it's ultimately about the bride and the couple, not you. Because when it comes down to you, like a selfish thing you want, like you said, for your portfolio, it just becomes stale. It just becomes a job instead of just passion, that what you're doing for the client. That's huge.
Absolutely. We're in the business of making other people's dreams come true.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that.
So just circling back a little bit on that too, clients always ask you like for ideas on certain things or like inspiration. So what are your design influences right now? Like, is there anyone in particular that you look up to for design inspiration?
That's a good one.
Oh gosh. I mean, yeah, for sure. A lot of our local wedding planners, a lot of my colleagues, you guys know Janet Casey from Sandcastle Celebrations. She is an incredibly talented, amazing designer. She's somebody I, have a huge amount of respect and admiration for, and I'm lucky to call her a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are so many of those types of designers and planners in this area. Florists, Kim from Flowers by Kim is a huge inspiration to me. I mean, I absolutely love her as a person. I love the way that she runs her business, but I also love her work. And I draw inspiration from her.
Nice.
The whole team at Avenue 12 Rentals and, the things that they're doing in television production with the various shows that they're doing, and then what they're able to do for, weddings and events here on the coast, and the pieces that they very carefully curate, for their clients. So there's a lot of inspiration right here at home. Of course, what I'm seeing in Martha Stewart weddings and Wedding Chicks and Green Wedding Shoes and David Tutera. There's a lot of outside influences as well, but there are so many that are right here locally, just doing really beautiful, amazing work and inspire all of us daily. And to be able to have that kind of camaraderie with those people locally too, it challenges me to be better. It challenges me to sharpen my skill set and to make sure that I'm providing that same, information to my team and helping them sharpen their skill set. So any opportunity I have, to sit with somebody like Janet and to learn from her, I mean, you better believe I'm going to take that up. It might involve a glass of wine or two. That's always inspiring or a good way to brainstorm and get inspired, especially here on the coast. But yeah, just so many talented people locally who are doing really beautiful work and, who are equally as passionate as I am.
Amanda, that was beautiful. That was a good answer. I see why you're so loved. Yeah, like that was that's huge, because we're always so wrapped up in looking into, like you said, Martha Stewart's or, Junebug, all those like big companies. But when it comes down to it, look at your local, look at the people you work with, check out their work, support their stuff, look for their, inspiration from them. That's huge. Because then in the end,
we have so much to learn from each other.
Exactly.
Some of the DJs in this area have been doing this for 20, 30 plus years.
Yeah.
They're a wealth of information, and, it's fun to just sit down sometimes and pick their brains. What you guys are doing with this podcast and getting to know, the vendors in the area and what makes all of us tick, that's inspiring. There's so much for us to learn from each other, and that's reachable. That's within our reach.
Yeah.
I don't have a contact at Martha Stewart Weddings. There's not somebody in my inner circle that I'm talking with on a regular basis. And, would I love to have a relationship at that level? Absolutely. But I have a lot of really great relationships here and people that have, just as much experience as me, if not more, coming from different backgrounds. So it's like it's kind of just like, okay, look at what's around you.
Yeah.
Look at the incredible talent we have within an arm's reach and reach out and learn something from that person. Every time I get together with another vendor in this area, regardless of what type of vendor they are, I learn something.
Yeah.
Every wedding I do, I learn something. And when you're constantly learning and growing and putting all of that information to practice, you can't help but, grow and expand and become more passionate about what you're doing. So, I don't want people to discount the wealth of information and experience we have here locally. There's some tremendously talented, really beautiful people here.
Yes.
Definitely agree with that. Don't take your community for granted. You got a lot of good talent here. It's huge.
Yes.
So I got 2 questions here. This is pretty good. These are so this year, as we all know, we've all been impacted by the coronavirus, COVID-19. I want to know, 2-part question. One is, since you said you still have a lot of weddings, how are you going to be approaching those weddings? Like, are you going to be full on gloves, mask, hand sanitizer, making sure you have a ruler, a yardstick to everyone's separated from each other? Like, how are you going to conquer those weddings for this year?
I think like everybody else, we're just sort of waiting and seeing.
Yeah.
It's about waiting patiently, doing our part to stay safe, to keep our clients and vendors and team safe. We're going to adhere to whatever the guidelines are at that moment. And, there might be different guidelines for a July wedding versus an August or September, October wedding. So we will adhere to whatever guidelines are put in place.
Definitely.
And I think the important thing to remember about all of this is that this is all new. We've never been through something like this before. So we're all just trying to do the best we can and figure it out as we go. And we're learning new information every day. And so it's just sort of keeping that perspective, like, we're not in control of this. There's so much that's beyond our control right now. And all we can do is keep the lines of communication open between us and our clients and their vendor teams and just sort of roll with things as we go. So, we have obviously, another 25 plus weddings planned for this year.
Yeah.
And, we're moving forward with all of those as planned currently and just kind of waiting to see what happens. And, that's all we can do. The process for us with this crisis has been, if we are in a situation where we need to look at postponing or rescheduling, it's reaching out to the venue first and identifying some potential alternate dates. And then running those by our couple to say, okay, here's the list of alternative dates if we are rescheduling for a later time. And hopefully it's for later this year. But, are there 1 or 2 of these that resonate with you two, that would work for you two? And then we're reaching out to their entire vendor team, regardless of whether they're a management client or a full service client. We're going to reach out to their entire vendor team and say, hey, it looks like we're going to have to reschedule. Here are the 2 dates that work for the venue and the couple. Can we get a consensus about who is available? If you're willing to transfer that contract and those deposits, and then, we'll sort of take it from there. We then circle back with the couple and say, hey, this one date, 100% of your vendor team is, able and willing. And this other date, it's 80%.
Yeah.
And this is what's at stake. And so really keeping that line of communication open, having those discussions as we go, and understanding that this really is a fluid process at this point. Ultimately it's obviously, we're being held accountable by the city guidelines, the county guidelines, the state guidelines, the federal guidelines. But also at the end of the day, it's up to that client to make the best decision for them and their guests. And so we're going to do whatever we can to help them get there.
That's so cool. Yeah, I definitely agree. It comes down to, like you said, them and their guests. And I also want to say, when this thing happened, I feel like the people that really got affected in this industry are the planners like you. I've seen it firsthand with Jade, but you guys are hardcore, having to like you said, move dates around, contact all the vendors, make sure everything works, juggle money around, all this craziness. I'm like, whoa.
Keep our couples informed and calm and all of this.
It's, but I mean, this is obviously a stressful time for everybody.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how much more stressful it is for somebody who's been dreaming of their wedding their whole life, who's been planning this day for 12 to 18 months or however long, that's been looking forward to having all of their friends and family come to celebrate with them. The amount of stress and disappointment I think that people are feeling is just overwhelming. So, like I said, whether it's in our contract or not, we're going to do whatever we can as a team and make things happen as seamlessly as possible so that they can still have that day. If it ends up being an elopement and then the reception gets rescheduled for later, or, we need to figure out how to do some sort of live stream of the full day for people who can't make the trip, or, whatever it is, we're going to figure out how to do that and what that looks like to make that happen. It's just going to be a process, and, better for us to carry that stress than for our clients to carry that stress. That's just how I feel about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree for sure. On that note, where do you see 2021? Do you feel like 2020, because we all thought that 2020 was going to be the boom year. Do you think now?
Yeah, well, it has been for us. We've been fortunate in that we are already doing really well with bookings for 2021. Any events that have been rescheduled from earlier this year have been pushed to later in the year. We've only had one that was actually moved from this year to next year. So we've been very, very fortunate in that regard. I think what I am hearing from any of those new inquiries that are coming in and new clients that we're booking is that, they were already planning on having their wedding next year, but because so many things of this year are getting pushed, they're wanting to act more quickly so that they don't miss out on the vendors that they want for next year. So that's one thing we're really trying to drive home with our clients for 2021 and now even looking into 2022, which just sounds like light years away. But we're not really sure how long this is going to last, how long we're all going to be affected by this. So if you are looking at a 2021 wedding, time really is of the essence. Yeah. It's about booking that venue and getting your planner and moving forward with as many of your vendors as possible to lock them in before they get taken by somebody else or before this year's get rescheduled for next year and they're no longer available.
Exactly. I agree with that for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So circling back from all of this, just getting back to normal wedding days, I'm curious, the day after a wedding, what does that look like for you? What do you do to relax on Sundays?
Oh my gosh, pure exhaustion. This last season, I think we finished last year at 23 or 24 weddings or something. So we did a fair amount of volume last year as well. And I really developed a pretty good, nighttime routine. So, sometimes we're home by 10:30, other times it's 11 or midnight, just depending on the venue location and how many parts and pieces are involved. But so sort of my immediate, get home at the end of the night routine is, a little glass of wine, an Epsom salt bath, maybe a candle and some music, just to really wind down, to calm down my brain, to calm down my body. you're pretty much just running on adrenaline all day. You might take a bathroom break, you might stop to eat for a minute or grab a snack on the go, but you're pretty much just go for anywhere from 8 to 12 hours that day.
Yeah.
So that end of night wind down routine has been crucial for me over the last year. And then the Sunday routine is really about, giving myself that day off.
Yeah.
It might involve a little, CBS Sunday morning, maybe taking my dogs to the beach, having a cup of coffee and a nice full breakfast, and really just kind of taking that time to relax, to refresh, to regroup, and really reset for the next week.
Yeah.
Because as you guys know, when we're in wedding season, it's literally every weekend.
Yep.
And so whatever time off you can give yourself, just going to help you reset so that you're fresh and ready to go for the next weekend.
110%.
So for us, that Sunday, Monday is really crucial. In a lot of cases, if we have a Saturday wedding, we might have other clients in town for the weekend that need to meet with us on Sunday.
Yeah.
So at the very least, Mondays are my day off.
There you go.
I don't do any work-related activity on Mondays during wedding season unless it's revenue-generating activity. If it's not revenue-generating, all my clients know I will talk to them on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You have to give yourself that time to refresh, or you're not going to be any good for anybody.
Yep. Jade, what's that term they call it with the zombie? What'd you call it?
What?
For the Sundays, it's like zombie. Oh, God, I can't think of it.
I don't
Dang
know.
it. Moving on. Shoot.
It is. I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's a little bit
Well, it's
like
like a
you
wedding
wake up after a
hangover.
wedding
That's what it
day.
is.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wedding
you
hangover.
have this wedding hangover, and it's like, what just happened?
Zombie.
So you absolutely have to give yourself that time.
I agree. So I gotta ask. So you've done, you got the marketing background. You've worked for TV. You've done PG, the golf tour stuff. If you weren't doing any of that and not even doing weddings, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh my gosh. I would be writing and speaking and, touring all over the country, all over the world, promoting my books and speaking to people and motivating people and, just sharing that love and light,
That's so nice.
whatever that looks like. So,
So you like to write?
I love to write.
Whoa.
It's finding the time to do it.
Yeah, I bet.
So I have a few books actually that have been, work in progress for quite some time now. And
Awesome.
Definitely on my agenda to finish them all and to publish and then to get out there and start speaking to people. So that's really, I see myself doing that in addition to running my wedding planning business, continuing to do events and weddings and, celebrate with people in that way, but then also to be able to, share my knowledge and expertise and lessons learned over the years with people, in book form and, by speaking and just getting out and seeing the world. I really want to travel more and get out and connect with people. I am a connector at heart.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to me that I'm doing that. Weddings are obviously a great way to be able to connect with people. But sort of next phase or next level, I guess, is also, writing and speaking. So
that's so cool.
awesome.
Where would what category would your books fall into? Or genre?
Oh gosh. Well, I think, life experience,
Nice.
life lessons, one of the books I've been working on for a while is Tall Tales and Life Lessons.
Nice.
And so it really is about sharing, funny things that have happened at different events over the years, sharing other people's stories, lessons learned along the way. And those could be personal lessons. Those could be professional lessons. It's kind of just
Super
all
cool.
across the board.
Awesome.
So, I really I want people to be entertained, but I also want them to walk away having gained something, one little nugget of advice or, just something. Whatever I do, I want it to make people's lives better. I want it to bring value to people's lives. So that's always going to be at the center of anything. It's what value am I adding to people's lives?
That's so cool. When you finish those up, I definitely got to read one of those.
Yes.
Yes.
Me too.
You got to read those.
I would love that. I want everybody to read it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. So if you were standing on stage and you had a bunch of people that want to be planners, what would be your best advice for them right now to start?
Oh my goodness. I think it boils down to figuring out where your heart is at. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why is it that you want to get into this business? Like, what is driving you? What's motivating you?
Yeah.
What's going to keep you passionate about it? What's going to keep you wanting to do this for a long time to come? And, you hear that a lot in, the entrepreneurial world or kind of the self-help world. It's like everyone talks about, well, what's your why? And it sounds so cliche at times, but it really is, that's what drives me, where my heart is at, that's what drives me in my personal life and my business life. It pushes me to be better and to do better. And so I think that's probably a good place to start. That's where it all begins, and that's where ultimately it keeps coming back to.
Yeah.
What is it that lights you up about this? Why do you want to do this? And I think that's a question that's really important to ask ourselves from time to time as well.
I agree.
Does this still resonate with my heart?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, then maybe I need to look at something else. But as long as it does, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's huge. When it comes to the business, like you said, when you're 7-10 years into it and you're feeling a little stale, come back to why. Why are you doing this? Why? What makes you happy with this business? And like you said, just keep going back into it. That's huge to get you going. So we got, that's huge. So we got this question here from a caller.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, we got a question here. So let's play it. Let's see here. Here we go.
This is Corinna Peterson, and I would like to ask Amanda how she perfects that San Luis Obispo infamous Amanda Holder sorority squat.
Of course that would come from Corinna. Oh my gosh. I love that. So side note, she is also a really amazingly talented designer, a great friend. She has been, an inspiration to me over the years. And so just a quick shout out to her. But so a few years back, we were doing these San Luis Obispo wedding planner, headshots and group shots. And, you can take the girl out of the sorority, but you can't take the sorority out of the girl. So this kind of this running joke over the years is, perfecting the sorority squat. So for anybody who knows a sorority girl, you know what I'm talking about. Their group photos, their photos with their big or they're little or whatever. And you just sort of, hands on your hips or hands on your knees, and you kind of just squat down a little bit. And, it's a little tilt of the head and a smile and maybe a little glimmer in your eye. So you will see a couple of those on our Insta and on our website.
That's funny.
But what I have found over the years is that it's just a way to break up, the seriousness of things sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And to just ensure that, you're having fun with your colleagues, you're having fun with your team. And so, it's just a way to do that. It's a way to keep things light and, to give reason, to smile. And so I have, imparted that on these slow wedding planners over the years and on my own team. And I don't think that will ever go away. So get used to it.
That was awesome.
I love that.
That was a good question. So Amanda, thank you so much for being a part of our show. We had a blast and we learned a lot about you. It's just awesome. Super
This has been
inspiring.
amazing.
Thank you. You guys are so sweet. I have so much fun.
Yes.
I really love what you guys are doing with this, and I see how important it is and how valuable it is for people to get to know us behind the scenes.
Exactly. And that was our goal, just to hear more about the wedding vendors and what they have to offer too. But like you said, their backstory is just huge. I like doing this.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys having me and being good sports. And this was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, before you go, can you let the people know where they could find you at, like website, social medias, whichever's best?
Yeah. So AmandaHolderEvents.com. We are also on Insta at Amanda Holder Events, Facebook, Amanda Holder Events. So that's the easiest way to find us. And of course, just ask around too.
Yeah.
Ask the other vendors in the area. Ask your friends. Ask your family. But ultimately, website, Insta, Facebook. That's probably the easiest place.
Cool.
Perfect.
That was great. We'll definitely put those down in the show notes. Again, thank you so much, Amanda. We had a blast.
Oh, thank you guys.
Bye.
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 Amanda's awesome. It's such a pleasure working with her, and it was super nice just to chat and hang out today. It clearly shows why she's so loved by everyone in the community.
Yeah, it was super cool hearing the passion she has for what she does. She has a gift, and it is so inspiring. She has such a unique background and has crafted it into an incredible business.
Yeah, I also like how she's provided many interns an amazing hands-on experience.
Yeah, I love that they get to work together as a team to make their couples' weddings everything they've imagined and more.
I agree. As always, guys, thanks again for tuning in to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. Till then, we'll catch you on episode number 9.